Hello everyone, this is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, here with another exciting video. And in this video, I'm going to be doing something a little different. Essentially, I'm going to try and tell the story of Justice Society World War II, but I'm going to be telling the story, or at least retelling the basic premise of the story, using real-world topics that I've been interested in recently. Those topics being Xenobots, monkey-human chimeras, the mirror universe, and pop culture paganism. I actually have a text-to-speech explanation video that I uploaded earlier today that goes over what all those topics are, so if you're interested in learning more about those topics, I highly recommend that you guys check out that video. It's short but informative. Now, in case you guys don't know about Justice Society of America World War II, it is an animated film that will be coming out tomorrow, as of the date of this recording, that is about the Flash traveling back in time to fight alongside the Justice Society of America against Nazis. Based on what I can tell, it doesn't seem like the Flash is actually intentionally running back in time, but he's accidentally being sent back in time and ends up helping the Justice Society of America fight Nazis. So like I said, I'm going to be using Xenobots, monkey-human chimeras, the mirror universe, and pop culture paganism to essentially recreate that same premise, but using my own original characters. So first off, let's create our analog for the Flash. So here's how I'm going to do it. Monkey-human chimeras, in case you guys don't know, are essentially these monkey embryos that were recently created by scientists that were infused with human cells, and they lived for about 19 days. Now, the whole point of creating these monkey-human chimeras is to one day be able to use them in order to test new drugs, to be able to harvest their organs so that they can be used for like organ transplants to human patients that are in need, things like that. So I think our Flash equivalent is going to be a monkey-human chimera who has been essentially grown up to adulthood, who's being used for human drug test, who essentially is administered this like super serum that gives him super speed similar to that of the Flash. Now, the way that he receives this super serum is actually going to be through Xenobots. So in case you guys don't know what Xenobots are biological robots created by scientists using tissues, like as in like cellular tissues, not like Kleenex, using different like biological tissues that are designed in order to complete specific functions. Now, we hope that Xenobots in the future will be able to help clean up pollution from the water and from the ocean, to help repair machines, to help regenerate body parts, and to be able to deliver medicine throughout the human body. So, in order to combine two of these elements into one, essentially our Flash equivalent, this monkey human chimera who gains super speed from a super serum, is going to actually be given the super serum by Xenobots that are inside of his body. Essentially, they're releasing the serum into his veins, and that's what allows him to move at incredible speeds like the Flash. Okay, so next up, we're going to need to get our Flash analog that we've created into the past so that he's able to fight the Nazis. So how are we going to do that? And how are we going to tie it into some kind of Justice Society equivalent? Well, I actually have a couple ideas on that. Let's say our monkey-human chimera Flash analog is living inside of a lab that is connected to many different laboratories that practice different things. And maybe in a nearby laboratory, there is a particle beam that is being used in order to try and find evidence of a mirror universe. Now, this is actually like a real experiment that's been going on in the real world, trying to find the existence of a so-called theoretical mirror universe, where they're trying to essentially shoot a particle beam at what they call an impenetrable wall in order to try and find signs of mirror neutrons, which would give essentially us evidence or a clue of the existence of a mirror universe, which some scientists say may contain dark matter and a number of mirror planets and stars. Not necessarily like mirror versions of the real world necessarily, but who knows what exists in like essentially the other half of the universe, in this mirror world that seems inaccessible to us that we're trying to understand. Now, let's say an accident happens in that lab, which causes the particle beam to go haywire, and a portal is opened to the mirror universe. and our monkey human chimera ends up getting sucked into that portal and transported to a dark matter planet similar to our own, but where Nazis have taken over the world. Bum bum bum. So we've gotten our Flash character onto a Nazi world. How do we now connect them to something like the Justice Society of America? Now, we could very easily just say that there is some kind of superhero team that exists on this dark matter world. That actually wouldn't even be too much of a stretch, because they say that the mirror universe probably would have its own physics. So the concept of there just being superpowered people that exist on this world wouldn't be too crazy. But we also have to understand that while it should be really easy to hand wave away the idea that a Justice Society exists on this earth, or shall we say a Justice Society analog, but what makes our monkey human chimera Flash analog even want to be a superhero in the first place? I mean, the way that we've characterized him so far, he's just a lab experiment for the most part, just used to test drugs. And sure, he has super speed, but that doesn't mean that he wants to be a superhero, nor that he would even try and take on that responsibility. So how do we make him a superhero? Well, I think that's where pop culture paganism comes in. So in case you guys don't know what pop culture paganism is, it's essentially the idea of deifying fictional characters, worshiping them as gods, and it goes further than that, but that is a very simple explanation, very minimal explanation of what pop culture paganism is. I highly recommend you guys check out that video that I mentioned, by the way, that talks about Xenobots, monkey human chimeras, the mirror universe, and pop culture paganism in more detail. Go check out that video. Super short, but it'll definitely give you more information about what pop culture paganism and what pop culture magic is. So let's say that our monkey human chimera actually has friends that he hung out with in the lab. Maybe the scientists and researchers that ran tests on him, or even were the ones who created him or created the Xenobots that are inside of his bloodstream. Let's say he was actually friends with those scientists. And since he does have a combination of monkey and human abilities, let's say he's actually able to read and maybe communicate via sign language. And one way that the scientists are able to bond with our Flash analog is by showing him comic books, introducing him to superheroes like Captain Urzat analogs of popular characters that we can't use because we don't own the rights to said characters. Let's say the scientists are introducing him to comic books and he likes to talk about comic books. But let's say that his belief in comic book superheroes is a little bit different from the scientists. The scientists see these comic book heroes as fictional characters, while the monkey human chimera, for one reason or another, whether it has to do with, him not being entirely human, or maybe not entirely understanding human culture, or maybe just him finding some deep spiritual connection when reading about superheroes, decides that he's going to deify superheroes. He doesn't just see them as fictional characters, he worships them, he prays to them, he has a certain understanding of what religion is, and his perspective on religion is that superheroes are gods. So when our Flash analog is transported to the dark matter Earth that is populated by Nazis, and he wants to find a way to get back home, he finds some goggles, maybe a torn uniform, a torn jacket of an allied soldier, and he decides to put on the goggles and put on the jacket, wearing it in the style of a cape or a cloak, mimicking these superheroes that he literally perceives as being gods. And when he finds the Justice Society analog that exists on this dark matter Earth, he's essentially worshiping them. He sees them as these higher deities, and he wants to get out of his way in order to try and help them out. And their curiosity in his existence leads them to, wanting to learn more about him and wanting to help him find a way back home. To which then our story would have sorry, I got tongue-tied. To which then our story would be about them working together to fight off the Nazis and find a way for our Flash analog to return to our universe. So there you have it. That is my attempt at trying to recreate the basic premise of Justice Society of America World War II with these real world topics: Xenobots, monkey human chimeras, the mirror universe, and pop culture paganism. If you guys thought this video was interesting, definitely make sure to smash that like button. Let me know in the comment section below, and come talk to me on Discord about your ideas. Also, feel free to use this flash analog and all these different concepts that I've been talking about in your own stories. Consider this idea open source idea that anyone can use and put into their own creation. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. The show's your friend, your boy, JSWWII, the one and only, logging out. Peace, guys. Check it out.